So, Ankit, finally at the end of 2 days, successfully, I think, executed TAF. I think we had great response, tremendous participation and engagement amongst all the delegates and other stakeholders. What are your thoughts?
I would say I would echo the exact same thing. I think it was just an amazing 2 days of so many different stakeholders, right? Be it brand owners, solution providers, people from the government, different departments, different industries coming together, having these interesting, amazing conversations
Absolutely.
about different everything and how do we combine all of this together to create a solution.
Absolutely. I think at ASPA we can be proud of the outcome, and it's good to see that our publications also being quoted so widely, across various media and speakers. I mean, a speaker no less than the chairman Apida himself. He referred to our report and he said it was a very commendable job that we've done. Very gratifying. I mean, of
But
course,
Peter on one side, Amazon on the other. I think
Amazon.
I think the
Yeah,
fact that such amazing public sector enterprises on one side, private sector enterprises on the
absolutely.
other. I think everybody was really appreciative to the point where I think so many brands came up to us and told us that they told me in person also that yeah, we didn't know this was such a serious issue.
Absolutely.
So I
Yes.
think the very fact that I think why ASPA exists today is to on one side create awareness about this issue,
Two people told me that this conference is an eye opener, quote unquote.
right?
And one of them, Mr. Dev, he said it on stage,
Right,
Chairman
right.
Apida. So I mean, yeah, then you feel that maybe what you're doing is right, and you know, but I still feel that we are in an economy where counterfeiting, like most other economies in the world, will probably take some head-on tackling, And to my mind, another very interesting thought that came up regularly over the last 2 days was consumer awareness. I think a lot of solution providers, a lot of regulators, a lot of brands, we're all talking the same language. We're all saying the more aware the consumer is, the better are the chances of fighting the counterfeit.
Right, right. See, what I have personally noticed of this aspect is that I think we're on a journey, right? And as this journey is progressing, for the last 20 odd years or 25 odd years of the existence of this industry, uh, brands were not willing to talk about this issue, right?
Yeah.
I think that has drastically changed in the last 3 4 years. I think if I'm
Yes, some
correct,
brands
right?
are talking about it, which is a great thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yes, and you might recall our association with this leading pharmaceutical brand, Mankind.
right,
So I think it was absolutely wonderful that they chose to issue a video in collaboration with ASPA
right.
about the ills of counterfeit medicines and how one should talk, how one should identify, and what one should look for. So that thing was a great video, and I think it was good that we played that video at the conference so that a lot of people also got to see that.
Right. No, I think consumer awareness is definitely something which has to increase. Brand owners have to, I think, as this journey is progressing, will get more and more comfortable
Right.
talking about it, mentioning it as part of that advertising that okay, this is how you authenticate or check your product before you point at the point of purchase. And I think the other angle is in terms of government, right? The government taking up the initiative of campaigns like Jago Grahak Jago,
Absolutely.
right? So I think we should start seeing more of those, hopefully moving forward. And
Yes.
we at ASPA obviously will be
We have
advocating
work
for
to do.
it. We have
Yeah.
work to do around that. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think that's a great angle. And more consumers, I mean, it's so refreshing to see Amazon taking the effort and the initiative to ensure that no counterfeit, product is sold through their platform, and they plan to take it globally. So
Right.
that kind of drive is what you want to see in brands,
Right.
which is what is so critical to strengthening the fight against counterfeit.
I think the other angle which I felt worked very well for TAFT in the sixth edition is the international participation.
Oh yes,
Right, we could very clearly see the efforts by the government of how India is the knight in shining armor,
yes,
right? So India is the market where everybody wants to be,
sure.
and very clearly a lot of different technology solution providers from the world were present in for the last 2 days.
Yeah, and these are big names. I mean, you go to any international security conference, the two companies who are here, you will find them everywhere. They are
Correct,
always
correct,
there.
correct.
So it's good to see that they realize that, like you said, India is a very important market for everyone. And yes, they also realize that the next growth is here. No doubt about that. And
I think the other message which I felt which did get resonated a couple of times was the collaboration aspect, right? How people have to realize that not one technology can solve the problem,
yes,
and hence you have to combine. You have to complement technologies. You have to complement each other's skills in different companies, inside ASPA, outside ASPA, with the brand owner, with the scale, with the different stakeholders, to really solve this problem.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I mean, while all, I mean, we all know, and all technologies have their own advantages, so to say, but some others have, higher advantage with respect to the other technologies. So merging them and coming up with a composite solution or phygital, as we keep talking about it, where you have a physical security feature such as a hologram, such as a color shifting ink or micro lens based technology. Choose what is right for you, what fits your budget, and club that with digital verification,
Right.
QR code based, non-clonable codes. Yeah, so I think the pie is only getting bigger in a sense in terms of the availability of technologies that are there.
Right.
And ASPA, as we know, is a wonderful platform for all such technologies to
Right.
come together and
I
fight.
think I think one other learning which I got was the fact that how you could actually literally look at it from India to Bharat,
Yeah,
and hence digital or phygital to physical, right? So there was a lot of mention by a lot of different brand owners about how a rural farmer or a rural person is just buying on the basis of the way the brand looks,
yeah,
right? So talking about, on one side we have all this digital adoption and everything going on, but at the same time the importance of physical security
it's
on the packaging,
absolutely.
right? Some visible, easy to detect for an for a person sitting in a rural India to check, came across very
Very
strongly.
strongly. And I think it was also rightly mentioned that is the network may not always support you. So what do? You still need to verify the authenticity of the product you're buying. So
Right.
that's where the physical features make a very strong
Right, but
contribution.
that's where Elon Musk and Starlink also comes in.
Yeah.
So
So they will when they
yeah,
will,
they
yes.
will.
And yeah, so and that's another angle. You know what? But yeah,
I
but I
think I
think
think on the other side, the other spectrum of it was also AI and blockchain, right? So the other extreme, I think, which we also heard for a lot of brands who are more maybe urban oriented, to be looking at more advanced technologies. For larger brands who have a very organized supply chain and balance sheet, to be looking at blockchain solutions, to be looking at artificial intelligence to create efficiencies in the supply chain, to detect frauds, fraudulent activities. So I think it's going to be a very interesting next few years,
absolutely,
where on one side
absolutely.
we'll seeing more innovation around physical security and different innovations coming in, and on the other side we'll see all these very interesting AI
Yeah.
blockchain kind of technologies to keep getting augmented, or complementary technologies to keep getting added.
Yeah, you see, I think physical technologies and features will remain at least in the foreseeable future. I don't think in the next few years we are going entirely digital unless digital makes some very very strong inputs. But even now, if you there was this presentation today, right, where they had this digital printing solution which could be scanned by a mobile app. So mobile app shows you something, but then at the same time, you still need to be able to see that variable data printed on the pack, the physical element of it, right? So that's how the marriage takes place. So
Right.
so I'm pretty hopeful this collaboration or the marriage between physical and digital, that is here to stay for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I think also one other element which I feel is maybe a few years away, but we all have to work in that direction, and is the fact that eventually a consumer cannot be expected to download hundreds of apps for authenticating hundred of different brands, right? So there has to be some standard, some regulation to be brought in by the government eventually, to own by the government, and the standard has to be set, which has to be followed by brand owners and hence us as solution providers, so that it becomes very easy for a consumer to use one app to
Yeah,
authenticate
so
all
there's a super
products.
app which has interoperability linked in, and your plugins rather,
Right.
through which you can. Yeah, so I think what there was talk about it even at IHMA a few years ago when you were talking about such a super app. At that time, it had some IP concerns. It had some IP majorly, I would say, and then that went kind of thanda. But I'm pretty sure that with our IT skills in the country, and I'm sure we can probably develop such a super app which would just say Asli Bharat or whatever, and call that app that,
Correct.
and
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
use that to whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it is other FMCG products. And mentioning pharmaceuticals, I think that's another very critical area where a lot of work is happening, and I see a lot of traction in the pharma industry. People are now talking about using security features. Price is a bit of a constraint,
Right.
like with most other
Right.
customers. But yeah, but the fact is that opening up. First of all, they're talking about it, which is a great thing. And now they are actively looking at security features to protect their brand and then communicate it to the consumer. So which I think is again a big step forward. Yeah.
I think the other thing, when you're talking about cost, I think one thing which we have realized as a company also is very clearly that the second the brand or owner or people in the packaging department or the marketing department of that brand realize that this is an investment,
Yes.
and there's a clear return on investment case
Most,
here,
yeah, it's a
right? So
value
the second they
proposition.
realize that the differential additional cost to begin with, which is required, is nothing in comparison to the potential leakage of sales and profit
Yes.
which is happening for the company. And
Absolutely.
I'm not even talking about goodwill, right? Goodwill is the
Well,
primary thing.
true.
And so that way there's a very clear case, a business case for it. And obviously there's a social case which is on top of all this, because eventually we're talking about securing lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. You see, uh, when I talk to some of the customers, whenever I do, I mean, I always tell them to consider the expenditure on authentication solutions as an investment. It is not an expense. It's
Right.
an investment which will bear them long-term returns because. I mean, even the immediate maths might be simple. I mean, if you're spending, I don't know, what, 1% or half a percent or quarter% of your MRP, and then if you're recovering even 10% market share, I mean, the numbers will add up easily,
Correct.
easily.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
never a cost thing. It's a value proposition. And like very rightly said, it's a goodwill, how you protect your goodwill and how you deliver a better value to the customer. So I think that is changing. That is changing really. And it's great to see these things. And another aspect where I think we perhaps didn't have much discussion on was the ID protection.
Right.
So that's another area where I think there's a lot of scope to upgrade the level of the current security features.
Are you hinting at creating another high security document conference?
Well,
Yeah.
ID, yeah. So we could
Yeah.
probably have an ID conference also when, yeah. But I think I see a shift in the ID also coming very soon.
Right.
I think it's a matter of time before we move to kind of a polycarbonate situation from the current PVC.
Right.
So yeah, but here again, I'm pretty sure ASPA will drive the growth in that direction also.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
yeah, but I think overall, this is something that this is a conference that I certainly look forward to. Of course, I'm an interested party, but then
Yeah.
besides that also, I mean, getting to meet all the industry folks, renewing old acquaintances, and so and this time I also saw a few new faces, which is a good
Right.
thing,
Right.
right? Even in our exhibitors, a lot of new companies came in and they exhibited, which only shows that the tribe is growing. More and more people realize the importance of authentication, and they all have their own technology to chip in with,
No, so
which is
you and I
great.
know this, that last week we were short of space.
Yeah.
We had more interest of people participating to
Yes,
put up their stands, and we didn't have enough
we
space.
didn't have enough space. We
So,
didn't have
which is
enough space.
obviously a great sign for I think what TAF has achieved, what ASPA has
Yes,
achieved,
absolutely,
and we've been able to attract all the right-minded people, the right set of people in the room.
absolutely. So I think yeah, it's a great step forward. I think we're in a good place,
Yeah,
and things will only get better from here, right?
yeah, for sure.
Super,
Okay,
great.
great.
Thank you. Pleasure.